Hi there everyone, my name's Risked, and today we're going to be talking about decorations. Now, I've seen all over the internet, whether it be forums, discords, or just random screenshots of people with horrible builds that they need input on. For some people, there's a joy in putting a set together yourself. Not everyone wants to be a meta slave, and that's perfectly valid. I also don't like running the absolute most meta sets on the planet because quite frankly, I'm usually too dumb to make the most use of them. But if you're struggling to figure out what works together, what to prioritize, or just plain don't know what skills are good or not, then this is the video for you. This is the average Joe video for building sets for hunting monsters to do good with, and also have fun, and not die doing that. I don't know, let's just get into it. So we're going to break this down into a few parts, and I'll likely go more in depth in some other videos that are more specific to each weapon. So if you're using a skill in a set and I say it's mid, don't jump to conclusions because some are legitimately good for some weapons and absolutely useless for others. And that's just the nature of the game. So before we start getting into the nitty gritty, let's go over the basics. What are decorations? What are group skills? And what are you doing not hitting that subscribe button? First things first, a decoration, also sometimes called a gem or a deco, is an item you can slot into your different armors and different weapons to give them additional effects. You unlock these a little bit later in the story, so if you're just coming back to Monster Hunter Wilds after the performance issues were finally handled, don't freak out if you don't have many or any yet. But if you're a player who's progressed past the main story, you likely have a ton of decorations sitting in your bank chest. Most quests give these out like candy, with some investigations spitting out dozens. They're fairly easy to farm, and save for a few, which for some reason have an obnoxiously low drop rate, you shouldn't have much trouble getting them to start putting together your sets. We're going to break down decorations into two categories pretty broadly, being weapon decorations and armor decorations. They also come in three variants, being 3 slot, 2 slot, and 1 slot. Your equipment shows these slots in the upper right hand corner, and it's pretty self-explanatory, though it is worth noting that you can fit 2 slot gems into 3 slot equipment space if you need to, and 1 slot gems into 2 slots, and you can also put 1 slots into 3 slots, but that's generally kind of a waste and I'd recommend against it. Weapon decorations can only go into weapons, and armor decorations can only go into armor. Sounds pretty self-explanatory, but this is a change from previous Monster Hunter titles, like Monster Hunter World, and makes it a little bit more interesting and min-maxy to work with. You also have talismans, which grant some skills that can come from either weapon or armor skill pools. And once you unlock 9-star tempered investigations, you can start farming those for another layer of skills. Though you can also craft talismans earlier on through Gemma, those talismans will only have 1 skill on them, unlike the ones you can get from the investigations later on. These can help you craft something truly unique to your playstyle, and they shouldn't be overlooked. It may take a little while to get to this point if you're starting from scratch, but if you just haven't played for a while, you likely already have the hunter rank to start taking these quests on and getting some really crazy combos. So now that we know what decorations and skills are, how do we know it's any good? There's a few skills that you should basically always try to put into your set. These include things like Agitator, Weakness Exploit, a rank of Burst, and potentially even a single rank of Flare. These skills are where you're going to get a lot of your affinity from, and they're all 3 slot armor gems. And by the way, affinity is just crit. There's a multiplier, you hit big, you want this. There's no downside. Then you have a whole set of skills that are 2 slots, like Maximum Might, Counter Strike, Resentment, Stamina Surge, Evade Extender, and Evade Window. The list goes on. It's pretty huge. And these are usually where things start to be more about comfort. Not all weapons are built the same, and not all weapons want the same thing. For instance, Maximum Might gives you bonuses when your stamina is kept full for a very brief period of time, and it goes away once you use a little stamina. This is great for things like Sword and Shield, Greatsword, and even Hammer, with some other little tricky bits thrown into the mix, but we won't go into that just yet. But Maximum Might is all but useless for things like bow or dual blades, since your stamina is constantly being drained. These weapons benefit from Stamina Surge or Marathon Runner respectively, and those two skills are completely useless on things like Sword and Shield, Greatsword, and Hammer. There's also some skills that you may only want in moderation. For instance, Critical Draw is great for Longsword, but most builds don't benefit from all three ranks. One rank is enough to cap you on affinity, and adding additional ranks of the skill just takes up space and doesn't actually give you any benefit. It's important to try to make a mental note of the combined affinity values on your gear. You can do this just by reading the skill description and adding a few numbers together. It's just basic math, I promise. And once it hits 100 or close to it, you can safely stop adding affinity skills and focus on more comfort picks or raw damage numbers. So a comfort skill is anything that isn't necessarily damage related, but it's going to make your time playing the weapon feel better. Maybe you don't care about doing the utmost DPS and just want to feel agile and free, and that's okay. If you struggle to dodge and it feels like you're just a frame off every time, maybe Evade Window would be for you. It adds a small bit of invincibility frames to your dodge with each rank and can be really nice to have for comfort, and also really nice to have for weapons with counters or special evades, like Longsword, Dual Blades, or Bow. These weapons also benefit from a few stray ranks of Adrenaline Rush, which gives you bonuses on Perfect Evade, or Peak Performance, which gives you bonuses for being full health thanks to those evades. Little side note, just be sure you're using Evade Window and not Evade Extender. These decorations look and sound very similar, but do very different things. While Evade Window will make your invulnerability window longer when evading, Evade Extender increases the distance you actually dodge. This can also be a good pick for something like Dual Blades, where dashing can let you cover large distances quickly, but make sure not to put in too many ranks, or when you are evading, you can pretty easily overshoot your target and just end up in Narnia. And then there's one of my favorites, earplugs. A lot of people swear by this one for comfort alone, but some weapons, like Greatsword and Gunlance, have such long combos and windups that they effectively become damage items since they don't get interrupted and you can maintain your DPS. And all earplugs does is negates the effect of monster roars. Alright, now while it might seem like I'm saying every skill has a place, there are truly some skills that are noob traps, and you almost always want to avoid them. These are things like defense boost, sleep resistance, and honestly a lot of elemental resistances in general. Sure, these can save you if you're getting your ass handed to you on a platter by a monster, but sadly, the age-old saying rings true in Monster Hunter just like it does in so many other games. Just get good. That's right, you can get the effects of all of these defensive gems and more if you just don't get hit. So rather than rob your gear of precious gem slots used on resistances that could be used on other comfort skills or damage skills that can make your hunts faster and easier, just slot in those comfort skills from the get-go and hand that Rathlos its own ass on a platter instead. Unless it's Divine Blessing. If you're going to pick a defensive skill, make it Divine Blessing. It's actually pretty great, and it's all level 1 slots, so it's super easy to fit in almost anywhere. And then there's also things like Speed Eating, Recovery Up, Recovery Speed, and more I'm sure that relate to healing that generally just take up space and don't offer you too much in return. But if you do love chugging a potion at the speed of light and watching your health bar magically go from God Help Me Red to Verdant Forest Green, then by all means, go for it. I'm not your dad. And then you have your skills that are truly so niche that you may have no idea where they would even get used. This is things like Geologist, Botanist, Mushroommancer, Antivirus, or a wide range. Geologist and Botanist can be useful if you want to craft that shiny new piece of armor but you need 36 fuchsia more for some reason and don't want to farm for 9 hours to do it. It gets you more better ore, more faster, and it can be slotted in its own gathering set along with Botanist to just get the farming job out of the way. Let's be real, if you wanted to do that kind of farming, then you'd be playing Stardew Valley instead. Mushroommancer and Wide Range, however, can be legitimately good for supporting your teammates, like with a support Sword and Shield build, which I'm sure everyone in multiplayer would appreciate. Coupled with Speed Eating and Free Meal, you basically never run out of healing, unless your team is truly, truly awful. And well, then I'd refer back to the Get Good comment from before. And an honorable mention that I frequently use myself is Shockproof. In previous games, a single rank of flinch free negated the effects of your friend who only uses longsword and seems hellbent on staggering you. In Wilds, it's Shockproof. Fantastic pickup for multiplayer if you feel like you're getting tossed around more by your friends than the actual monster. And that brings us to armor set bonuses. Armors have a set bonus and a group bonus by default. set bonus is part of the armor set itself, and the group bonus can be shared across multiple different armor sets. For instance, this piece of Jindahad Y, or Gamma, has Jindahad's Revolt and Lord's Soul. Lord's Soul is shared among all of the Arch-Tempered sets, while Jindahad gets the Revolt skill exclusively. This means you can mix and match which armor pieces you like from each monster and still only need to equip 3 pieces to get the group bonus of Lord's Soul. And by the way, this is one of the best group bonuses in the game, and I highly recommend picking it up. You get a fat damage boost when you're healthy at the cost of slightly lower defense, then it saves you from death one time, like a Moxie buff, and then buffs your defense instead after removing the attack buff. And then if you cart, the bonus gets reset. You may remember me talking about antivirus from earlier, and that's where Gore Magala's set bonus comes in. It makes you contract Frenzy, which doesn't sound great on its own. But here you can see I'm wearing the legs, which while not great on their own, have a rank of antivirus and 2 level 1 slots, which I can fit 2 more ranks of antivirus into for 3 full ranks. And at 3 ranks, you cure the frenzy super quickly and you get a flat buff to your affinity if you keep it that way. And all you have to do is just keep smacking the monster real hard to keep it cured. And now look, there's hundreds of skills and set bonuses in this game, and if I try to go through every single one, this video would take hours. The point is, if you want to put a set together without using the speedrunner special that you have to have perfect uptimes for and know what EFR means, then you're going to have to be smart. Try to mix mostly damage skills in with comfort skills that ideally get you more openings to do more damage. Sure, Team Darkside can kill that raid out before you even load into the lobby, but they're also using a set that deals extra damage if you're basically holding hands with death, and if a Talon so much as tickles their fancy, they're going to wake up with the true King of Skyrim in the back of a cart. I'll be making more videos going over what skills are extra spicy for certain weapons, so make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified when those are ready. And if you want to ask questions in the meantime, drop a comment and I'll respond to the best of my knowledge. Or maybe someone with even better knowledge, which is not a very difficult thing to achieve, will help you more better too. And if you want to see any of the sets you've seen in this video in action, I stream every Monday to Thursday morning EST over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/RSKD_. Just don't ask about the underscore, it's there. Don't forget it. And on that note, I'll see you in the next one, hunters. And until then, stay classy.